Hey everyone, Scott here with another Fusion World gameplay replay video for you. Got another Gohan game here, and we're against a Beerus this time. In terms of the opening hand, I think this is a pretty decent keep. We got our earliest kind of source of ramp, as well as a few early plays. If our opponent tries to aggro us down, we can try and clear something off their side of the field, maybe with the trunks here. If we need to dig for something, maybe we can use the Android 18 here. Yeah, our opponent goes ahead and takes the mulligan. Don't have a ton of early plays in their hand from the looks of it. They got pretty unlucky in having the two super combos in the opening hand. It's not necessarily when you want to get the super combos, you want to draw into them earlier on. So I went ahead and I charged the 17 and 18. Obviously, if I knew I was going to get the second secret rare, this would have been a better card for me to have charged, but I didn't know that at the time. And yeah, these early turns is just a case of me using up as much of my energy as I can. I didn't really feel the need to use the energy marker to get one of these guys down turn one. Try and save that maybe to play the Broly a turn earlier, or the secret rare if I need to. Go ahead there and actually charge the second copy of the secret rare. It's very unlikely that I'm going to need to use both of these in a single game, and with the 0 combo power, they end up being a bit of a liability if you try and hold on to them alongside cards like the Broly or the 17 and 18 SR. I've definitely had a few games where I've tried to be a bit greedy in terms of keeping up my options open, having 3 or 4 different cards with 0 combo power in my hand, and I end up losing the game by a narrow margin. Whereas if I'd held on to a bit of combo power, I probably would have survived, and maybe even gone on to win the games. So yeah, that's just my thoughts of why I'm charging there. So I do go ahead and use the destructive strength. I've definitely seen people who will wait and play this on turn 4 when they have the energy marker. My thought process is basically converting the energy marker into like a real energy. It's going to have more benefits over the course of a game. It's going to have this one energy that I can tap every turn, as opposed to kind of if I just had the energy marker there and kind of keep hold of it until maybe I was going to play something big like the Broly. The 8 cost, you know, it may delay me a turn on one of my big plays, but I think, you know, next turn I'm going to be able to play a 4 cost card, as opposed to next turn being the turn that I use the destructive strength. The turn after that I can play, you know, a 5 cost card if I don't get any more ramp, and so on and so forth. And I think in the long run you just get more use of having an actual real energy versus just having the energy marker. And we go ahead and play a Goku just to use up that one energy. Draw into the 6 drop Gohan childhood. Pretty useful in some games. I don't think we get the most use out of it in this one. They're able to use the Whis to clear our Goku. I don't think that was like a major advantage to them in any way that turn. Like we could have ramped, then played the Goku, then attacked the leader combo off the Goku. It was pretty clear my opponent was just going to take the hit. They hadn't done anything in this game so far to indicate that they're not willing to take that hit off my leader swing. So just having the extra 5k combo power versus them getting rid of it with the Whis didn't really make a difference. Not like I was going to use it to combo against their leader swing either. So do end up having a turn later on in the game where I do kind of mess up by not using my card off the board, and they get to remove it for free for Whis, but in that case I don't think it was a big deal. Here, since we didn't necessarily have a great 4 cost play here, I mean we could have played an 18 and maybe the Trunks, or could have used a Gohan, see what we got, maybe got another Gohan or a Goku and just draw even more cards. But yeah, considering we don't really have a good turn 4 play, and we didn't see a full cost Vegeta, which would have been the best play to have had on this turn. Go ahead and use Destructive Strength again. It's not a card I tend to use too often, twice in a game. Usually it's just one and done on turn 3, and then after that I'm very rarely using it, but this is one of those few cases where I do actually end up using another copy, and that lets us play the 18. I definitely wasn't going to play a third copy, so that's why I discarded it as soon as I got it off of the 18. Also lets us put a little bit more pressure onto our opponent's leader, force them down to 4 life, and then maybe they awaken, and that takes the crit pressure off the board, which we see they go ahead and do straight away this turn. They had the opportunity there to kind of go in one more time crit, but I suppose they decide they'd rather draw the card off of it. And now that they have awakened, there's no point them holding the Piccolo back again like they did last turn. They no longer have the crit pressure from the leader. They go ahead here, and with the super combo in hand, and maybe this Gohan or the Trunks, I could have tried to save this. The thing is, with this being on 5k and the Whis here being 10k, they could also attack into it, although no, they haven't used the Whis skill yet this turn, is the thing. Yeah, I started the turn, they give it minus 15 here. If I combo out of this, they just minus 5 and get rid of it with the Whis. Obviously the difference is I don't take the damage if I save it, but really in this situation I wouldn't try and save this if it's not going to actually keep the card on board. I'll just take the hit, and I do even have the Gohan childhood here that I potentially could go back up to 4 life. But we'll go ahead and awaken on the attack just to do it ASAP, see what we get off of the awaken draw. See if that maybe changes my mind, but not really, because like I say, if I save it, they're still removing it anyway with the Whis. I'm just losing cards from my hand for not a massive benefit. Go ahead here, attack just into something other than their leader. I was pretty much committed to playing this Gohan childhood to get rid of the secret rare, so I just didn't want them to be able to take the hit off the leader. Attack, and then get more cards in their hand. And we'll go ahead and use the Gohan just to make sure we use all our energy. We don't have any gigantic meteors in hand to kind of keep that one energy up. So that was the situation I referred to earlier. If I had played the Gohan before attacking with the 5 cost here into their Piccolo, I was always going to do it, so really what I should have done is played the 1 cost first, then played the 5 cost, swing into the Piccolo and combo off the 5 cost. So that was a situation where, yeah, they definitely got some value out of having the Whis skill there, especially when I was so aware of it on the previous turn. For me to kind of forget about it and make a pretty obvious mistake there, yeah, is a bit disappointing to see it back, but I suppose you can't play perfectly every game. See here, our opponent drawn into the secret rare again, and kind of no point going down to 2 life, or it'd be very risky to go down to 2 life while they're presenting 5 energy. We're pretty aware that they do have the big double striker. I'm not super worried about dying to the Goku, considering I've got 2 super combos in hand, so they would have to use a lot from their hand for it to be beyond the point that I can get out of it, but I'd rather not risk it, considering they have a slightly larger hand than me. I'm not sure how many of these are going to be 0 costs on their side of the board, or in their hand rather, whereas I've got, a 1 cost here. I've got a few 5Ks. These could all be 10Ks, which, to be fair, most of them are. So if I can avoid it going down to 2 life and having this Goku being like a threat, that's probably the right thing for me to do. So combo out of the Piccolo attack. And they go ahead, they do drop the 5 costs here, along with the leader skill. That's pretty good combo to be able to get rid of 30k on the board. And so, since it's not going to kill us, our opponent's not really, there's no advantage to them actually comboing a lot onto this. They'd just be committing to put us down to 1 and with no follow-up. So, yeah, with them not comboing, it's a pretty safe bet just to use one of the super combos in my hand while I can, just to avoid going down to 1 life unnecessarily. Again, just don't want to attack into their leader. I'm not expecting to go for kind of lethal this turn. Since I'm sitting on 7 energy, I'm just going to go into the secret rare. It clears all the cards on their side of the board, just for the sake of discarding 1 card, and it gives me a 50k attack next turn potentially. See there that our opponent charges the second secret rare, so being aware of that during the game. It's very unlikely that they're going to be running more than 2 copies of the secret rare, so we don't necessarily have to worry about another one of those coming down. And it turns out they had a pretty good hand there to be able to go 1 drop into 2 drop into 3 drop to get rid of our secret rare along with the leader skill. So here I end up going down to 1 life. I don't 2 life even. I take 1 hit down to 2 life. I don't know if this was necessarily the right choice to make looking back. I mean, I did have the super combo in hand, so I could have got out of that just with the 1 card. Like, I'm aware that they're not going to play the 5 cost this turn, but they could very easily have another one in their hand for next turn. And I'm not necessarily, just based on what I've got on the board in my hand, I'm not confident I'm going to be able to win on this upcoming turn. So maybe that was the consideration to, if I can, avoid going down to 2 life. But they go ahead and they combo on the Goku attack, and we use the leader skill to get out of it. If I was holding a 8 cost Broly in hand, I probably wouldn't have, well, I definitely wouldn't have used the leader skill there, but considering that I've already charged 1, and, you know, I could top deck 1, you know, at the start of my turn coming up, and then I'd feel a bit bad about it, but just based on playing the hand that I kind of have rather than the hand that I want, is my decision there. It lets me hold up these super combos in my hand for a later turn if I need them, especially if I am going to be trying to defend myself against another 5 cost double striker. Go ahead and play the Goku down for the first time this game. Lets us use the leader skill without losing energy. Well, I mean, it gets rid of the energy, but it replaces it, so we don't go down on energy anyway. Here, them super comboing out of the leader swing. This says to me that they don't actually have one of the 5 costs in hand. If they had the double striker that they could quite easily play next turn, there'd be no point in saving this. This says to me that they kind of want this attacking threat on board along with their leader. That says to me their hand isn't looking great in terms of attacking cards. So it's up to now we hadn't seen any super combos out of them, I don't believe. So it signals to me that maybe they are sitting on a few super combos. Obviously we can see here now that, yeah, they've had 2 for pretty much the whole game. Go ahead, use up all our energy while we can by getting the 18 on board. It also draws us a card every time we attack. Again, attack into the Goku rather than the leader. We don't want to give him more cards in hand, more opportunities to see that 5 cost now that we're pretty sure they don't have one. Against Red, I think sitting back with the Goku in active mode isn't great. With a lot of the way they remove cards being minus in, or just KOing something if it has a certain amount of power or less. Having this guy sitting in active mode is no safer than actually trying to use it to force cards out of my opponent's hand once they've made it clear that they want to save the Goku on board, which they do. They combo away a Krillin here. And yeah, we'll go ahead and pass the turn back to our opponent and see what's what. Pretty safe to use the leader skill here with Goku on our side of the board. Gets us out of the attack there, and also, you know, I'm very aware they could have another one of these Gokus in hand. Just use the leader skill to clear my Goku, so I don't kind of want to take it for granted that this is still going to be here later in the turn. Maybe they would have gone ahead and done that first thing, but it also depends what they draw off the leader skill. Maybe they wouldn't have had anything that can remove this, but then they attack with the leader and they can. So yeah, I do try to, especially against red where they can quite easily get rid of this, I do try to use it, use the leader skill while I definitely have the Goku still on board. There's no real point going down to 1 energy here, 1 life even here. We got enough combo power in our hand between the super combos and this Vegeta and Gohan. Go ahead and try and save the 18 here. This represents a card we can draw next turn by kind of trying to save this. So much so that I end up using another super combo on it. Might have been better to have used the Gohan childhood here, especially because they've left 2 and 3 costs on board, so it's a pretty clear chance for me to use the 17 and 18 to like clear 2 of these threats off the board. So once it was clear that that's kind of what I was going to do this turn, maybe it would have been better, like I say, to combo away this Gohan rather than using the super combo. Since I want to try and kill my opponent this turn, I'm going to start going at their leader with the 18 rather than into their battle cards. You know, if I knew they had this many super combos kind of in hand, maybe I would have been better off going into the hit. But obviously, not knowing exactly what my opponent has in hand, it seemed reasonable to try and go for his leader on this turn. So we do go ahead and show our opponent that we have the 17 and 18. You want to avoid doing this if you can, but we didn't really necessarily have a good way of spending energy before attacking with our leader, because I kind of do want to use my leader skill this turn on its attack. Like maybe I could have played the 2-cost 18 first, then attack with the leader, use the skill, and then played the 17-18. That might have been a better way to kind of sequence the turn. You do go ahead and use a super combo from, not a super combo, use the Gohan childhood from our hand now, just because going up to 45k, I know it puts them out of range of being able to save themselves with a single super combo. And in the end, yeah, they did have to use 2 super combos to get out of that attack. And so, with them only showing 1 card in hand, there's the potential that I could... I mean, it depends what this is. Obviously, we can see here that it's another super combo, but this could have very easily just been a 0 combo power card. You know, it could have been one of the Gokus that KOs something when you play it that they played on the previous turn. It could have been maybe a 3rd copy of the secret rare, even though we said before that they're probably unlikely to have another copy of that. So yeah, in the end, I don't end up comboing on this attack, if I remember correctly. Yeah, and they're able to get out of it, so that kind of... Obviously, if I'd known, I could have dropped my 2 super combos onto it. This would have been... Yeah, no, it would have had to be both super combos to get to 40k. Their super combo wouldn't have been enough, and then I would have had a 40k attack double strike to kind of win the game. Although, depending what their 3rd from last life was, this might not have actually gone through either. At this point, I'm not going to try and save these 18s. I am very aware that they could have... They did end up getting 2 copies of this Goku, so I'd much rather have the super combos in my hand, because, you know, this... We can see here now this is field cards, so no combo power, and they did get 2 of the 5 drops. These very easily could have been cards with combo power, in which case having the super combos in hand and holding them for the double striker is kind of how I want to play this turn out. They go ahead, they clear the Goku, so we don't have access to the leader skill. Well, we can use it, but we'd be going down on energy, which is maybe not the end of the world. We'll do it if we absolutely have to. But here we can see they don't have a super any combo power in hand, so a single super combo is enough. And they know that they've got no combo power in hand, so our 40k double striker is going to KO them next turn, so they go ahead and they concede the game there, which makes sense. So yeah, that's it for this gameplay video. Let me know what you thought in the comment section down below. You can also subscribe and leave a like. Doing both of those really helps me out. And be sure to check back on the channel for more of these replay videos.